What is a modified Street Fighter cabinet? Simply put, it has been modified to perform much better than the way the manufacturer intended it to be. So instead of having 3 games and some very basic controls, it now has lots and lots and lots more games, and the controls are much improved. The sound is now stereo instead of mono. It's just lots of improvements that make this a machine worthy to be in your home, your office, your man cave. So if you want additional information, just let me know. Powering on your system is simple. When the power is turned off at the power strip, you must turn the switch to on. That will not turn it on yet. It's going to prepare it to boot up. And now flick your switch. Your system will begin to boot up. You see your lights came on. You get your Arcade1Up logo and your intro. Volume controls is here. You know the power is on when you see the light there. The system will boot into the Street Fighter collection. Takes just a few seconds. There you go. Now you're ready to play Street Fighter. 1 or 2 players. Okay, so this is a custom job by Detroit Love. We have our LED lights, the back joysticks. You have your LED player 1 and player 2 lights, as well as your player 1 and player 2 coin buttons. Not sure why it's not. That's weird. Look inside. Everything's neatly organized, locked in solid. You have your video control card that controls your video and audio from your Raspberry Pi to your monitor and sound system. If you do need to adjust any video, that's your monitor controls there, but you typically won't need that, but it's there if you need it. You got your HDMI plugged in, your power to your controller board, and your sound, the little green thing there. You have an individual power switch for your Pi. You need to reboot that or turn it off without having to cut all the power to the box. You have your Raspberry Pi in a beautiful case, mounted. The way the SD card is mounted in the Raspberry Pi 3B Plus is on the bottom. You see I have your SD sled if you need to put it in your laptop or computer. But if you need to get to your SD card, this is velcroed on pretty tight. You can take that SD card out there. Just take that out and remount this. No problem, that thing's on this solid, it's not going anywhere. If you had to transport this anywhere. Cable management, neat all the way down to the power. The power supply is mounted to the box, it's not going anywhere. As you saw, you had access to the power button from the outside. Beautiful, clean setup. Professionally done. Priced affordably. You can have your own arcade right in your own home. The built-in power switch works. Switch that to off. It'll turn off your arcade. The LEDs will go off as well as the screen. You'll see that go off. That go into sleep mode, so you don't have to worry about power drainage if you don't want to. So you see everything's turned off. So you can leave it just like that if you want to, and when you're ready to play again, just flick the on switch and that'll power everything back on. Turn the monitor on for you, turn the LEDs buttons on for you. You got your Arcade1Up logo, got a custom Street Fighter intro. Pretty sweet. Let's turn it up a little bit. Might be able to recognize that song. But that's badass right there. Okay. You have this in your man cave. You have the optional riser that you can get. So this is without the riser. So this is made to be for you to sit down on a bench, and you're right at the appropriate level. So this is how it looks on a riser. It lifts it up another foot, which allows you to walk up to it and be at the perfect height for playing standing up. So you can, and with this riser you can screw it in so it is one piece, or like me, I just sit it there and it's fine. I can take it down anytime for sit down play. But you see both the Galaga and the Street Fighter on risers. You see it boots right into Street Fighter. So you have all the Street Fighter games. This is the Street Fighter cab. Though you can back out with this button and get to your menu, and you can play the other games. So we'll just go over a little bit of the way the buttons work and the system is laid out. You have your coin, your player 1 and player 2. You have your player 1 coin, player 2 coin. So you just navigate to a game. Let's just go back to Street Fighter. Go to the Street Fighter menu. We hit our middle button here. That goes into the menu. We find which game we want to play. Hit the green button again. That'll launch the game. You have the Arcade1Up loading screen. Once the game launches, to insert a coin, you will just hit the coin button for one player. So we press that. You hear that? Alright, see there, 4 credits. We can put in credit 2. It's the same thing, but it matters here. If you want to play 1 player, you hit that button. If you want to play 2 player, you hit that button. We'll hit 2 player.
Choose your alter ego. Ready.
So you have your controls. Player 1, player 2. So what you can do here is when you're in a game, we'll just turn it down. When you're in a game, you can press the coin and the player 1 button at the same time, and that'll exit the game. But before that, we can hit the coin and the X button and that'll get you into your menu, and you have several things you can change. Like if you want overlays on or off, you may be in the game and it has overlays, you can turn those off. You see they're off currently, but you have control. Some games have, you see you can save your state, so you have to take off. You can save your state and then come back and load your state. There's all kinds of changes. You can have custom controls for this particular game. One thing you want to remember, if you make any changes here, when you go down to configuration override, if it's something that you want to affect all of the games, you do core. If it's you're just making a change just for this game, then you would do game override. Okay? We don't want to change, we back out. We get back to our quick menu and we can just resume our game. Look at that screen, crystal clear, beautiful. So we want to exit out of a game. We just hit these two buttons, the coin button. I'll use my knee here, and that button at the same time. I'll exit back to the main menu. You see you have menu help here, so it tells you what these letters do. So if you're scrolling through, say, all games, and you see something that you want to be your favorite, let's say 1942, we want that to be favorite. We press the Y button because it says here Y is favorites. So we press the Y button and you'll see there it added that to favorites. Okay, so that's what these things are telling you what to do. I want to play a random game. Looks like I press X and it just jumps down to a random game. You want to be careful of, okay, so if you hit the coin button while you're in the list of games, this menu will come up and you can jump quickly. I'll hit the A button. I'm currently on S. I can click, I'm sorry, let me hit I hit coin, brings us up. I can use my joystick, go to a different letter or number. Let's say we go to G for Galaga. We go here, hit the green button or the A button, you see it jump to the G's. That way you don't have to scroll down through a lot of games, okay? If for some reason you need to rename a game, you can edit the game's metadata in the same menu by hitting that coin button while you're in the list. If it's a game you want to delete, you can do the same thing. We hit the A button. We can go in here and set things up as our favorite. We can hide it. We can make it as a kid's game. You see, we can, if we made any changes, we can save or we can delete that game. We'll cancel out. Okay, so very simple setup. Once you know what these things, your menu commands are, you can turn those off. So if I'm on the main screen here with all of the categories, I can hit the player 1 button. That brings up the main menu, and I can work with my game settings. I can, if I don't want all these game collections or these collections showing, I can hit the, check that X off and it'll remove those from the list. We'll back out. If we didn't want to have like our favorites or all games or last played shown, we can uncheck those there. UI settings, we can change our screensaver settings and all those type of things, but I don't recommend you changing too much because you can mess things up. You can watch my video that shows you how to protect your MAME, and they'll show you how to put it in kid mode so someone can walk up and press buttons and change anything. If you need to reboot or turn it off, again, you have your off button here if you turn that off, but sometimes you might need to just restart it. You can hit the player 1 button and go down to quit, hit the A button, and you have some choices: restart the emulation station or restart or shut down the system. The way the screensaver works, if you're sitting here in the main menu, you can press the coin 1 button and that will put it in screensaver mode. Screensaver mode will just show a random game that's loaded on the system. You can use the controller to switch between demos. If you want to play a particular game while it's in the demo mode, you just press the player 1 button and it'll launch that game. We'll come out of this. Some games take longer than others to load up. Again, once you want to get into a game, you just hit the coin button. Deposit some coins and start button to play. But we'll exit out here. So that's enough to get you started. I want to show you one last thing. You have these list of categories here, or they're called collections. You have one that's called Raspberry Pi. Right here. Be careful in here. This is where all the settings and things are made. I'll just go into that just so you can see all kinds of options that you can customize it or jack it up. So be careful to go in here. But I did want to show you one thing in here. There's a thing called Retropie Jukebox. If you click that, it has an old school jukebox. It pretends to have albums and you can listen to songs. You can add your songs. If you connect, this Raspberry Pi has built-in Wi-Fi, so you can use your computer to see this drive. You would just go to / Retropie on your network, and you can add music into the ROMs folder. There's a music folder, or it's called Jukebox folder. You can add music to your library. In the forums, you'll see a file for controls. The way I set them up, you can always change it, but you can play music that's in your jukebox. And I'm not going to play anything because I don't want any copyright issues, but you can play your music. All these joysticks and controls will work your jukebox. When you're in the jukebox, this coin box becomes the exit. It'll take you back to the games. This second player coin will shut down the system. So you don't have to exit out and then shut down the system. It will shut down the system for you. Or you can just hit this button. We'll do that, and they'll exit out of the jukebox back to this menu, and then we're back to our games. So when you're not playing the games, you can use this as a jukebox and play music. So that's a quick overview of your new system. If you have questions, just ask in a forum or search in this forum for your particular topic first, and then someone will assist you. But otherwise, just enjoy your jukebox and refer your friends and family. Any applicable accessories that came with your system, like you see your extra joystick balls or extra buttons that you may have, any documentation that came with your case or your Raspberry Pi, the tray. Sometimes this can be remounted back under the controls. Sometimes it cannot, depends on which buttons you've selected. But that will be placed in here when you receive your unit. So keep track of that bag. And that'll have the essential accessories that came with your system. Any documentation. This door, you normally wouldn't have to go into it. Just like the stock box, you can leave that locked up or screwed closed and just turn on the power switch and you're ready to go. Volume, you do not use the volume controls here. The volume controls are here on the top, so you can turn this off or to click, and you control the volume when it's playing. leave it on so that when you boot the system on, it's already on, or however you want to handle it. But you have total control over your sound and audio. Enjoy your new arcade. Powering down your system takes a couple of steps. First step, switch from on to off. That will shut down your Raspberry Pi gracefully. The monitor will turn itself off, and the system, for all purposes, is off. The screen is off, the lights are off, the computer's off, but you still have power. So if you look inside the cabinet, you see red lights over there on the Pi. Your power strip is still on. If you want to kill power to the unit, then you will flick that switch. That switch is accessible when the back is on. One last thing you should remember doing is turned off, power's off. You should flick this to on so that the next time you turn the power on, your system will boot up properly.